Hey, what's going on? This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow, and we are back at it. I'm here with the lovely Rachel. Rachel, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good.
And we are actually at Zocktoberfest 2017, an event that's being sponsored by Robert Michael Jones and Birra Antoniana. I hope I'm saying that right. A very, very interesting Italian brewery. And we're actually in Williamsburg on a rooftop on a beautiful night here. It's a great view, right?
Oh my gosh, I love the view. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. And the reason why we're here, this is kind of a super secret beer release. We got a lot of good beers here today. Let me run you through it real quick.
Yes.
You want to hear this, Rachel?
Yep, I'm down.
Okay, so the star of the show is two variations of Canabliss IPA. Basically, it's two different methods that Robert utilized to infuse the marijuana oil into the beer. Both are cucumber infused, and they're at 70 IPUs, and they come in at about 4.2%. Now, we both had that, and that was pretty interesting,
Actually,
right?
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of like the cucumber notes and some of the cannabis, and it was really a nice fusion.
Yeah, it blended well, and you don't really know what to expect when you're hearing cannabis infused with cucumbers. But honestly, you get the cannabis in there, like you said, you get the cucumber, and it's done very well, and it's mixed together quite nice. I think it's well balanced, it's drinkable, and it's got a reasonable ABV.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole bunch of beers here we have not even tried yet.
I can't wait.
Yes, we got to get to them. So
Yes,
we'll run you
definitely.
through them real quick here. So we also got a Frog's Bite IPA, which is a Farmhouse Golden Delicious Apple IPA that was co-brewed with Rob and Johan Almeida, who is another brewer, actually. And the ABV on that one is 3.6%. It's supposed to be a delicious green apple hop bomb. So excited about that. And 3.6%, very sessionable. Sounds like something you could drink all day.
Yeah, definitely.
Then they also have a Phases Pale Ale, which is a spice-driven pale, which is around 5.2% ABV. And actually, it was the first beer that Robert brewed on his new Zymatic system by Pico Brew. So when he hops on the show, you can talk about that a little bit more.
Yep.
And then he actually has a beer on tap here on the rooftop. I know, Rachel, this is one that you were interested in trying. It's the Zocktoberfest.
Yes.
And I just had it. It's the pumpkin spiced Marzen lager, and it's around 5.6% ABV. It's a German-style lager. And it's kind of intended to be a dessert beer, but I kind of went for it early. I'm not a huge. You enjoy the pumpkin beers,
yes,
Rachel.
I love the pumpkin beer.
And
so I'm waiting. I gotta get up on that.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I, I'm not a big pumpkin person. I'm not a big pumpkin fan. I don't typically like pumpkin beers. I can appreciate when a pumpkin beer is well made, and I thought that this was a well made pumpkin beer. I recommend that you do give it a try at a certain point. And now that's all of Rob's beers, but there are a couple of beers here from Birra Antoniana, and just a little background on them. So they opened up in 2011, and they are owned by Italian beer titans Michele and Sandro Vecchiato, who own the biggest beer exporter in Italy. They source every item in their beer, from the water, the hops, the malt, and bottles from the various farmlands all over Italy. And just last month, the brewery won Best European Brewery at the International Beer Challenge. And they've got two beers here. One is actually I'm drinking right now. It's the Pasubio Session Pilsner, which actually just won Best Lager for under 5.5% ABV at the International Beer Challenge, which is pretty cool. And then they also have the Vienne, which is a German-style lager with a malty warmth that was an homage beer of Sandra Michel's to the German purity laws. Kind of German purity law meets Italian new craft beer trend, which is interesting. I can't wait to try that. And I think we are going to be bringing on a guest soon. But before we do that, so Rachel, how are you feeling at this event?
I'm feeling really awesome. I'm feeling good. I just had an awesome beer. It was delicious. I can't wait to try the other ones. The vibe out here is great. We're totally chill. Spoke to a couple of people. They're really awesome. Nice group. And the view. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. The view is
I
great.
can't even say. I can't say more.
The view is great. And for those of you familiar with Brooklyn and Williamsburg, we're actually down the block from Spite and Dival, which love Spite and Dival. Haven't been there in a while, but we've been there many times.
Many times. We have to go back again.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go back after this. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I'm feeling great. I was actually hungover at the start of the show, but I'm kind of rebounding. I got a few beers in me, and I'm making a comeback. You know, It's beer today, it's beer tomorrow, so feeling good. And I'm actually about to try now this Birra Antoniana, the Pasubio.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give this a try. And yeah, Rachel, tell me how you're feeling about this whole setup right now.
I love it. It's very intimate. It has it's like a really cool, like, secretive vibe. Like, you need to be totally invited. So, and I feel great and lucky to be part of it. It's to try this new batch, and I can see this going far. I can see these beers being popular.
Absolutely. So I just actually tried the Pilsner. I like it. It's got a nice little bite to it. It doesn't taste like it's under 5%, which is nice. It's got a crispness to it, and it's tasty. It's definitely very, very sessionable.
Hello.
Okay.
Me too.
Sorry. I poured most of it out there. Actually, let me give you some for my cup.
Hey.
Sorry. There you go.
Thank
Here
you.
you
Thank
are.
you.
You can go try that. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Very nice. So we will actually...
Very nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's tasty, right? I can see why
definitely.
it won for under 5%. And it's surprising. You wouldn't think that was under 5%, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you would. It's got a full body, but it's also got this light kind of crispness to it. I can't say that word tonight for some reason. But
he's recovering.
I'm recovering.
Yes.
Yeah, long night. We pounded a few beers. Went out yesterday to Queens Bully. Had a nice little dinner.
Definitely check it out. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and I was
out in Queens.
Yeah, Queens all day, baby. Queens all day. And we, I had a few beers. I had a double IPA by Southern Tier. And I also had the last of my stash, the KCBC Once Around the Sun, I believe it's called, which is a really great beer. And then I also had some of some LIC Beer Project beer that I picked up recently from their release last week. So it was good times. And of course, we had a little vino as well.
Yes, of course, my favorite ports.
Of course, we had some port.
So
that was cool. And it was a good time. But now we're continuing the Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow party, I guess, and we're out here in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, kicking it on this rooftop soiree, private invite, Canabliss release party. We got actually in front of us, we got a whole table full of beers. There's several boxes of beers, and there's also, as I mentioned, there's a beer on draft here, a little portable
nice keg right there.
Keg system. And it's nice. It's a nice night too. It's October, middle of October, but
it's so nice.
it's beautiful out.
It's insane. I'm confused.
Yeah, I got a shirt on basically, and that's and I'm good out here.
Yes. Yeah. No, I have my light sweater. I'm good. I'm totally good.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, before we bring on our guest, do you want to really quickly just kind of talk about? I know we Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow is actually co-sponsoring one of the events that you have coming up in November. Do you want to just talk about that really quickly?
Yep, real quick. I'll let you guys know what's going on. So we're actually working together. We're collaborating on Street Conclave and Juice Garden BK. We're working together with Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow with our latest event on November 18th to the 19th. It's a pop-up sample sale for Puerto Rico, and all the entrance donation, it will be donated to the Hispanic Federation Unidos Hurricane Relief Program. And also we're going to have like a diverse group of vendors. So come check us out. Make a donation for this insane situation that Puerto Rico is going through. So many places they still don't have electricity, and they are having trouble having drinking water. And this is just a little step that we can actually be able to help the community out over there.
Absolutely, and Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow is very happy to be a part of that.
We're gonna also have live event. You guys, we're gonna, Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow is gonna be there too, and we're gonna have some music. And not only that, if you want to find some new interesting things to check out, there's gonna be some vino, some juice, some some smoothies and different kinds of foods. So definitely come out, check it out.
And you'll have a whole host of vendors with different interesting assortments. Yeah, it's a great cause, and Beer Tomorrow is very happy to be a part of that. We often get involved, or we try to anyway, as often as we can get involved with charitable events. This one sounds great. Yeah, we're going to be doing a show there. We're excited. We got something interesting cooking up for everyone for that show, so definitely stay tuned. And that's the tickets are on Eventbrite, correct?
Yes, everything is on Eventbrite. Check us out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and it's absurdconclave.bk. And you can find us, again, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and also Juice Garden BK as well.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well.
Excellent. And so that's November 18th and 19th. That's a Saturday and Sunday in Bushwick, right on Jefferson Street in Brooklyn. And then before that, actually, on November 4th, BTBT will be at the Well for Brew for a Cure, which those are donations going to St. Jude's, and it's a homebrew competition.
Yes.
It's going to be another great event. So look out for those two events coming up, November 4th at the Well in Brooklyn, and November 18th and 19th in Bushwick, Jefferson Street, BK Absurd Conclave.
Stay tuned.
BTBT, yes. Stay tuned. And we are now going to bring our first guest onto the show.
Yep.
And we think you guys are going to enjoy this, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. So grab your beers. I hope you're drinking them. If not, get them. If you're in public transportation, wherever you are, hopefully you're on your way to a beer. And kick back, relax, and enjoy this. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. Fantastic. So we have a very, very special guest. The reason why we're all here tonight. Sir, please introduce yourself.
I'm Robert Michael Jones. I've been a home brewer for a couple of years, and now I do beer blogging alongside great blogs like Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Of course. And I also work for Birra Antoniana, which is a fantastic little craft brewery, family craft brewery out of Padua, Italy. Mm-hmm. They are just starting out. They just got they just opened their doors in 2011, and since then they have kind of expanded over into Moscow, to England, into Hong Kong, and now they're coming to New York City. Nice. Getting themselves kind of established here. And me and my partner over here, Francesca, we're the two brand ambassadors for them. Very excited to be part of the team. They just got the Brewers of the Year for Europe for the International Beer Challenge, and they're my favorite beer of theirs, actually, which is Vesubio.
Drinking that right now.
I'm drinking it forever. This is a phenomenal beer. Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Of course. This actually just got the best lager under 5% alcohol for 2017 for the International Beer Challenge as well. So, you get behind a brand that you really kind of respect, something that you really love, and to kind of, in lack of better
you pretty
terms,
much believe in.
Yeah, you have to believe in something to really
be
able to start to sell it.
Absolutely,
so, we're in 40 different restaurants right now. By the end of 2017, we'll be in 100.
Nice.
We're looking at right now, for as far as craft beer bars that you can get us at, as well as we are going to be at Milk and Hops. We will also be in why am I spacing right now? Milk and Hops and Malt and Mold as well.
Okay.
Nice.
With Kevin Heald, close friend.
Yeah, I'm drinking this. I really enjoy this, and it's kind of surprising that it's under 5%.
Yeah.
It feels like a full-bodied beer. You wouldn't think under 5% because it's got a nice bite to it.
Yes.
And it's very sessionable.
Yeah. Exactly. It's super sessionable, which is, not traditionally. It's not for an Italian beer to have such kind of this pungent, packed flavor in a beer that is kind of on the lower ABV. We have right now Baladin Brewery is kind of the hot topic as far as Italian beer goes in America. Just the craft beer movement has kind of migrated to Italy, and now with breweries such as Baladin, which is producing Nora, which is the highest ranking Italian craft beer in the world right now.
Wow.
They have it's brewed with it's a Dunkelweizen style light beer made with Egyptian spices and myrrh, and it is absolutely to die for, but it also carries that heavy ABV.
Mm-hmm.
Birra Antoniana kind of decided to go into the market as this is a beer that is going to appeal to not only Italians and Italians that are coming to the city as like something, the beers that they picked for New York are the ones that they decided these are going to be the ones that are going to be in the city for Italian vacation, and also for people that are going to these amazing Italian restaurants, the trattorias, the pizzerias, that are super high-end craft, and not only the super high-end, but like you can get a slice for $5, whatever, and get like a bottle of beer. It's going to be a craft Italian beer. It's an emerging market right now for Italy. So I'm very excited to be part of that.
Very, very nice. And and you have one other beer here tonight from them as well, right?
Yes, and that is Vienna. I decided to bring the Pilsner and the kind of the German-style lager just because we're kind of moving into the colder months right now.
Makes sense.
Get a little bit more of that, the higher ABV, but also, well, not with the Pasubio, but you get that little bit of warmth from the maltiness, and I thought that'd be a little nice touch on kind of a little blustery night.
Yeah. I'm excited to try that. And speaking of the night, I mean, it's great weather. I mean, you lucked out for rooftop. I mean, it's beautiful out here right now.
The end of October, it's the end of hurricane season. I was like, all right, this is going to be when it's the calm before the storm and the calm after the storm. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us about Canabliss.
Yes.
Okay. Canabliss is...
He's like, okay.
Okay, here we go, setting down the cards. Canabliss IPA has been a passion project of mine for the past 2 years. I started, actually, funny enough, it was on this rooftop that I handed out the first bottles of Canabliss IPA to a bunch of my buddies, this crazy rooftop rager last year. And it was insane. Like this roof, I'm surprised this roof is still standing. There's been a lot of people on this roof. This is a much more intimate kind of event tonight. But the beer itself, I've been kind of working on different formulations for it. I have recently purchased the Zymatic system that I've been brewing on, and it kind of allows me to make super minor variations. Like I'm able to change the temperature by 1 degree Fahrenheit.
So not to derail from the beer, but can you talk a little bit more about that system?
Yes, I would love to talk about the Zymatic system. The Zymatic by Pico Brew is a fairly new technology that came out in 2012. The pilot system for breweries. They released, I think, a little over 1,000 of them into the market, and you have now breweries like Rogue that are using this as a test pilot system for their beers to be able to test even on a batch of beer as small as a case of beer that you can produce, and you are able to modify such things. So you go onto the Pico Brew website and you're able to it's Wi-Fi enabled, and you have all of your recipes, which are BJCP certified 2015 style recipes. So you can also submit those to contests really easily. But you are able to type in all the very specific information for your beer, and it tells you what the ABV will be, what the IBUs will be. It will even give you a kind of basic description of what your beer will taste like based on adjuncts that you put into your beer. There's 4 different chambers for adjuncts or hop additions, and then you have your main chamber for the malt. I'm not kidding. I brew out of my bedroom. This is something.
Wow.
This is sitting at the foot of my bed on a big rack. I have a laboratory in my room. I have the Maelstrom yeast starter. It's
perfect.
It's
got all your tools and you got the bed. It's perfect.
Exactly. And
that's what you need.
I lay down and I'm like doing it. I'm like I'm gonna pop in a quick nap while I'm in the middle, and it does that. And you can for the brewer that is for like somebody like me that's working 2 jobs,
Yeah.
that's trying to start a company, and I am able to spend maximum an hour on a beer, cleaning the system and loading up the
That's
the
amazing.
ingredients. It's been a miracle in my life for not that much money.
So, how big would you say?
The size of a toaster, of a microwave.
Microwave. That's
oven.
amazing.
Yeah.
That
It's
is amazing.
so accessible for everybody.
yes, and like I said, I'm working out of my bedroom, so I have like a little bedroom like corner office in my room
Yeah.
where I'm working on my computer and I'm getting stuff done. If the temperature hits like a critical point above 207, then
Yeah.
I'm able to see that, and I'm like, okay, stop the system,
Yeah.
reboot, whatever. But most of the time it's running through, and it will tell me, like, I've had one diagnostic problem, which was because I was being very experimental with what I was putting into the system, and it clogged it a little bit, and I was able to completely fix it by myself. Like, it is it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's like
and
super user friendly.
Is there like,
Yes.
so you mentioned there's an app, so it's like something you can pull up on your phone that gives you updates, or?
so you have the website,
Okay.
and now they have Brew Pulse coming out in November, which is
nice.
is going to be their app. So I'm working entirely off my computer, but I'm able to I'm still able to, like, if I'm like, all right, I have to go to work and I want to monitor everything.
What's going on?
I just go onto the website. But with Brew Pulse, you're going to be able to monitor everything and also make little adjustments along the way, which
Wow.
is
That's-
mind-boggling.
That's such like a
That's-
like time, space saver. I mean, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like time space continuum, like beyond what I could even imagine I'd be doing
Yeah.
in this lifetime, kind of stuff. It's pretty phenomenal.
That
I'm
is
very proud to be the owner of that. So yeah, so Canabliss, I've been brewing that, and I've been able to make minor modifications to that. There's a line where you inject, you're able to inject different things into it, which is where where I inject the cannabis oil. Upon when the wort is chilling, when I'm going through the whole wort chilling cycle.
Yeah.
That's it. It's pretty simple. Over the next year, I will be dedicating my time spent on beer to pretty much Canabliss IPA, making it as a non-alcoholic beer, so I can promote it as it will just be a beer that gets you high.
Really?
Wow.
So
that'll
are you
that'll
be
be a game changer.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And you could actually sell it in the States where
Yeah.
it is legal now.
So
yeah,
As
totally.
a soda, essentially.
would you have 2 versions? Would you have an alcohol, or is it just that the goal is just to have that get you high version?
So I am going to have 2 options. I'm going to have the non-marijuana and non-alcohol.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
have one and the same. So
Yeah.
if
So right now tonight we're getting the best of both worlds.
you're
at
getting
this
the best
party
of
right
both
here.
worlds.
Yeah,
This is
Awesome.
This is the event where this is the only event where you're going to be able to do that, because it's it's illegal. I know that.
Wow.
I'm like a
It's-
moonshiner essentially right now.
Well, it shouldn't be. I mean,
It
it's,
definitely shouldn't be.
It definitely shouldn't be. It's ridiculous that it is. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I enjoyed it. It's the first thing we had here.
It's-
I mean,
It's delicious.
Good.
And honestly, I could see this being a popular drink.
Fantastic. I'm glad.
Seriously.
yeah, and it blends so well because you hear about it, you're like, oh, that's cool. I want to try this. But you're like, okay, so there's there's cucumber, and then how's that going to work with the
You're
with
like,
the
how's it gonna
marijuana oil?
work?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it does. You get those
Yeah.
cucumber notes right away. You do get that kind of like chewing on the stem, resiny type of taste. That's there in the background, and actually it blends well together. It's
Yeah.
very tasty.
It's
Fantastic.
very refreshing.
Good.
It's and I think that's the
it's-
cucumber.
Yeah, that's the cucumber there.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it
it's,
totally is. It totally is. The cucumber kind of came on as like as a fluke. I was working in a restaurant where they were making a bunch of tzatziki, and they were shaving off the cucumber, and they would strain it out, and then they would call it agua verde,
Yeah.
the green water. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, they're drinking this green murky water. They're like, oh, it's the cucumber water. You want to try some? I'm like, yeah. I was just getting into brewing at the time, so I was like, okay. I was like, can I get like a gallon of this, and I'll give you guys a bunch of marijuana infused beer? And they're like, yeah.
Hell yeah, that's a good
So
trade-off.
initially it was just kind of like this simple IPA, not really any frills to it. I think the cucumber added this kind of like refresh. Like, you're right, it's a refreshing
Yeah,
note that's like,
And
has
it's
a little
not
bit
a
of sweetness.
it's not a common ingredient in an IPA.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
And that in itself makes it stand out. And then of course you have the other added factor. It's almost kind of like a novelty as well, because you got the marijuana oil, and it goes together really well. I mean, I was definitely excited to try that. Is there kind of like a now you mentioned with the water, the agua verde, but is there another kind of backstory as to how you kind of sat around one day and you know what, I want to put some weed in my beer? Like, what is there a story?
I was high actually.
Those are some of the
that
best
makes
stories.
And I was eating edibles. And I was like, okay. I was eating edibles, and my buddy was making different edibles, and I was like, okay, so I was trying them out, and I was like, this one tastes like cannabis, this one doesn't. And I was like, okay, this one is good, this one tastes like Canabliss. Whoa, Canabliss. And it literally just came off a name. I was like, like a can of bliss, and essentially that's where I want to go with Canabliss. Is if it goes onto the market, if I'm able to put it onto the market in the near future,
Yeah.
it would be a 16-ounce can, so it'd be a can of bliss.
Can of
It's
bliss.
it's great marketing.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
So it just kind of came as a name, and I was like, can of bliss. I was just starting out brewing. Same time, it just kind of everything came together. Agua Verde, and I was just like, okay, well, fuck it. Let's throw this all into. Let's just throw
Put that
all
in
this
there.
into something cool and see how it works. And it kind of tasted funky at first. I was like, I think cucumber and beer could kind of work together. And I kind of messed around with the hops, and like I said, with the new system, I'm
You
able
can
to
monitor it.
Yeah,
and all
I'm
that.
able to really, really focus on what are the best components and how can I adjust them on a minor level to kind of get that, because I don't want to lose like that tiny bit of earthiness, but I also want to maintain that fruit forwardness on the beer, and at the same time have this beautiful effect. It's actually a coconut oil that I use to
Nice.
infuse. And I think that kind of adds this little bit of lightness to the
I feel
beer.
like you could almost like it's like organic too. It's like everything this beer. It's
It is all organic. It is 100% certified organic.
This
Yeah.
is something,
Nice.
honestly, I could see a lot of people going for it.
Totally.
It's really refreshing. It's really just a chill type, like literally a chill kind of drink.
It is the chill drink.
Yeah, and with IPAs, it's kind of like usually they're I mean, I love IPAs. I'm a big hophead, but they're usually a bit heavy,
Yeah.
and they're very rarely are they sessionable. But
Yeah.
this beer is one of those beers where you could have several of them, and
Absolutely. And with as far as the dosage goes, I aim to the way that I have it set up. Actually, I have two different formulations back behind us, but the one beer, the way that I normally do it, it's essentially a half joint. It's the effect of a half joint for a 12-ounce bottle of beer.
nice.
So it'll be a little bit. Maybe I'll have to dial it back if I go for a 16-ounce. I
Right.
still want to kind of have that effect of like a half joint.
Okay.
You're able to drink maybe two of them and still be like semi-functional. If
Sure.
you're deciding, I want to drink tonight, I want to smoke tonight, I want to ingest tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about the can art. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
this awesome can.
Yes. I was actually,
Yes.
funny thing you mentioned that. I was like, I could see some really cool, funky art on
Yeah,
that.
because cans are the rage, craft beer, right?
Yes.
And they're coming up with crazier and crazier names and more interesting and vibrant artwork.
Vibrant,
I mean,
yep.
this just sells itself. I mean, you're
Yeah.
looking at it. I mean,
You look at the label art on Grimm or KCBC, and
Yeah.
you're looking at some of the most kind of beautifully defined, like Earl Halloway that does the KCBC art. It kind of happened serendipitously where it's like, okay, this is our friend, and like we're brewing, and like let's throw some beautiful art on here
Artwork.
that's like cartoon, like action hero art.
yeah,
and
it's like graphic novel style. Yeah,
Absolutely. And same thing with Grimm. They, I love the Grimm brothers, and I love the family. I love their story of gypsy brewing, but I also think that, for one, they have a disgustingly amazing set of beers that they come out with consistently.
Yeah.
They're very
Not
solid.
just from their gypsy, but now that they're brewing out of Brooklyn. And now, I mean, when you see a bottle of beer on the shelf and you see Grimm and you see anything else, you're like, oh my God, that's art. I'm looking at art.
Yeah.
It
almost
sets
feel
everything aside.
bad and like recycling.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta recycle this.
You should see my room. It's just filled with beer cans everywhere.
So you're an art. You appreciate art.
Yeah,
So
and
there
and that's a great selling point too, because sometimes not all, and there's nothing wrong with not being informed, but not all consumers are equally informed. And sometimes you walk down the aisle, and if you're going to like a beer shop or just a grocery store and there's beers, you probably will look, let me look at the names, and then let me look at the artwork, and you may just pick a beer just because it has this funky name and this awesome artwork, and you're like, wow, this looks kind of cool.
Especially for people like us that do craft beer blogs and do Instagram and take pictures and want that kind of to pop.
Yeah.
That's a huge factor.
Actually, tell us more about your blog. You mentioned that you write a blog as well.
Yes, so I do the hop blog, and I do the hopblog.com, and I also do the hop blog Instagram. The hop blog Instagram, it started out as like this kind of like fun little way to try. It was a challenge for myself to just be like, okay, my sister is a pretty. She's establishing herself very well as a social media marketer and doing all of this stuff, and she got me into. She's like, you have to start an Instagram because it's going to completely change your life, and that's how I got the job with Birra Antoniana. That's how I actually ended up doing a lot of the digital marketing for the New York City Brewers Choice Festival, July Good Beer Month. Jimmy Carbone, I posted him up on a thing for the Hop Blog, and he was like, all right, Robert Jones from the Hop Blog, you're gonna go to the New York City Brewers Choice Festival and do all the digital marketing for it. And I'm like,
that's
all right.
awesome.
I'm like, I know I'm not gonna get paid for this, but this is gonna be like some of the best like exposure for me. Just
Absolutely.
like I'm gonna go drink free beer and film a bunch of people and shake hands with all these amazing brewers.
Yeah.
So
Of course, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So it just kind of evolved into something, I guess, bigger. I'm very kind of, as I've been starting out with Birra Antoniana, I've been pulling back a little bit from the hop blog. So you'll notice that I probably haven't posted in a week, which is just horrible. I know. It's really bad, especially when I look at my phone every day, and I'm like, Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow has posted up another photo. Check out this awesome podcast. I'm like, oh my God, that was such a good podcast. Like, I have you guys, anyway.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal, and you have kept up with it so consistently, and that is consistency and perseverance is such a huge part of this whole thing. So it's good for us to stay as a community, and now as much as I can, I'm gonna do the Throwback Thursdays, the Beer Throwback Thursdays, BTBT with BTBT, and the Flashback Fridays with my Craft Beer Protes from Germany. He's actually a beer photographer. He specializes in that. And
he's got a great account.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is so good.
Yeah.
Like, he just, I'd love to just if you don't follow Craft Beer Protes, check him out. Like, he does this beautiful art that is just, it's not like any other beer.
It's not your typical account.
No, and he does a really good job about notating every little kind of aspect. Mine is kind of a little bit more like, I like to write about the beer and do little fun rhymes and stuff. He actually focuses on the photography and doing these beautiful scenes set up for the beer, and then documenting exactly what went through with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are doing the same thing. I see you at a new brewery every freaking other day. It's unbelievable. You guys don't have huge black circles under your eyes right now.
Well, I started today a little hungover today.
Oh,
but,
there you go. There you go.
But yeah, we try to we love craft beer. We try to support. We're kind of a collective. There's a small group of us, and we try to
Yeah.
get out to as many breweries as we can, and not just breweries, festivals, craft beer, bars, all that good stuff. But and we love it, and you're right, it's a community, and we love to support it, love to support each other. But
And Queens, hell
And
yeah!
Queens,
it's a
Yes.
Queens craft beer community. It's
absolutely,
Yeah.
And
absolutely,
you're
Queens
from
all day.
Astoria.
yes, I'm
Yes.
from
Astoria, and right here, Pete.
Yeah, I grew up in
Astoria.
Astoria. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Hell
Astoria
yeah!
people here. Well, I grew up in Queens too, but I'm more on Jamaica States.
That I mean,
But I know Astoria.
Yeah.
hell yeah!
Growing up.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
awesome. It's all Queens.
Queens right
representing
here.
here on this
Yes.
rooftop in Brooklyn right
In
now.
Brooklyn.
Yes, in Brooklyn. I'm proud of Queens. I'm very proud of, especially like Single Cut.
I love
Yes,
Single Cut.
yeah.
They're doing so many good things. They have so many. Everybody knows Jan, but like they have so many. Jim is working hard. That was, what was the one that I just had the watt 12 watt. Double watt.
16 watt. I think?
16 watt. 16
Yeah,
watt.
yeah,
I think you're right.
Well, they just had a release. I think it was yesterday. They released
Okay.
2 beers, 2 new beers, in brewery only. So they're doing a lot of big things over there.
They're doing phenomenally. I
Yeah.
mean,
Big
them.
things.
I mean, look at something like Iconic. Iconic.
I like Iconic a lot.
Iconic is awesome.
They're
too.
tiny. They're tiny, and they're
You're not kidding. It's like the size of this area is like the size of their tap room, but they're
It's-
making great beers.
They're making such good beers. Speaking of cucumber beer, they have a cucumber saison.
Saison, which is pretty good. Yeah.
God, it's you
Yeah.
know, and they are pushing their beer. I bought their beer. No joke. I bought their beer like way out in the Adirondacks.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Really?
Local bottle shop. Like,
Holy shit.
whoa, how the hell did?
Wow.
You come
Yeah.
out here. Wow.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
guys, can we take a quick break? My cup's empty. I would like to refill it.
Let's do that.
You have so many more things to
I
talk about.
know.
We need to keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
We're just scratching the surface. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with everyone. Peace. All right. This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow, and we are back, and we have another special guest with us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? My name's Sam Gotzi, aka Young Skrilla. I am the world's leading Egyptologist, and I'm also a brewer of beer.
No, he's not. He knows how to pronounce Egypt, and he drinks a copious amount of beer.
If I had to say what my favorite beer was, it would probably be just like Corona
Oh my god.
with just a little bit of lime.
It's a little bit, right? Just a little bit at the
Not too
top.
much.
Another important thing that I really just think I need to say on this podcast right now is that 9/11 was an inside job.
Y'all
Okay,
sure you want
okay.
him on here?
all right.
Hey,
No.
So that's number one.
okay.
It's an unfiltered, uncensored
That's
podcast.
really
Say whatever you
that's
want.
what
Go
you
ahead.
need to take away from this. I don't know what these guys have been saying about beer.
No, we've been talking about pretty much all the same stuff, so you're right on the same page, buddy.
Great.
Good,
Okay.
yeah.
So, another thing. How do you guys feel about Bush going into Afghanistan in 2001? How are we feeling about that?
How are we currently feeling about Bush going into Afghanistan in 2001?
Yeah.
That was.
I'm asking the real fucking questions, okay? I don't know what you jokers are talking about.
Yeah, this is real news. This is real news right here.
Yes.
We need to discuss
in
this.
2001. That was 16 years ago. How old were you?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
yes.
right.
It's such a bad idea.
No, have you ever heard of this? He's an underground rapper. He's from the Bronx, I think. His name's Immortal Technique.
Yes.
I think, yeah, I think you'd like his
Yes.
stuff if you're not already familiar with
I
it.
listen to Immortal Technique.
Yeah, man,
I'll
he's
say
he's
that.
got
This is my first time around the block. Fuck you guys talking about?
You remind me of the song he's got. It's called Bin Laden, and the chorus literally is Bush knocked down the towers. So
You know what? Immortal Technique is an enlightened sorcerer. He is a wordsmith. And I think, personally, he should be on this fucking podcast right now. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Well, we wouldn't mind
Some old
Immortal-
bullshit right here.
Immortal Technique to come through.
Are you guys on like the iTunes store?
Yeah, I mean we're almost anywhere you could consume a podcast. We're on
Okay.
Podbean, we're on iTunes, Blurberry, Google Play, Podcast World.
Podcasts, because that's all I like. I hate my job. I'm so miserable at work, so I just like mainline podcasts. Like it's fucking. Like
He's
it's
a
chemotherapy.
cable installer.
Yeah, I install cable boxes.
An appreciator of beer.
Yeah, I'd say if you guys if you want to round me out, listen. What's this podcast called?
Beer
So for the beer
Good
today,
job,
beer
Sam.
tomorrow audience, just to round me out, this is the order of things you need to know about me. Number 1, I'm a lover. Number 2, I'm a consumer of beer. Number 3, I'm a 9/11 realist. Oh God, I'm gonna be. What the fuck? I came into this completely. I'm gonna be all over BuzzFeed tomorrow,
Dude, I can't believe this one podcast is gonna freaking blow up. I can't wait to show everybody that you ever have known this.
Did I already give my full name?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I think it was the opening, yeah.
That's not good. I'm gonna
man.
be getting a lot of death threats. Tomorrow. But it's
Well,
fake.
Hey, we'll get the
And
downloads
guys-
going up.
Yeah.
There you
absolutely.
go.
No, I know none of the listeners, obviously, you can't see this because it's a podcast, but my friend Jeremy Bunting, who is actually, he's a notable Holocaust veteran.
Oh my
And
I didn't think it was gonna go there.
he's currently using a weird Polaroid camera that he bought probably on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because anything he could do to avoid... At Best Buy? Did you buy it online, though? No. Was it delivered to your depressing apartment where you live alone with a cat? You fucking, fucking idiot.
That's
one of my
best friends.
That's
right?
one of my best friends for years now.
That's
And
best
honestly,
romance
if,
right
honestly,
there.
if he died, I would not care.
Oh my God.
To be completely fair, Jeremy does live in a one-bedroom apartment with a cat that has the toilet that is made from like space grade fucking technology.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the centerpiece of the apartment. He like,
The
he like
toilet?
got this thing on like Sky Mall, even though Sky Mall doesn't exist anymore. It's like
Sky Mall went belly up?
yeah, they're
Oh,
done.
shit.
Done
Upset of
so.
the century.
I mean, yeah, of course. That was the only reason that we ever wanted to fly anywhere, right?
Check out the magazine.
Sky Mall,
Yeah,
yes.
the magazine. Yo, you know what I read? You know what I need right now? I need a fucking mechanical leg massager.
I need a pinball machine that's like the size of a chessboard, but it's gonna be $4,000 because it's made of fucking crystals.
That sounds so, oh, now Jeremy wants in on the podcast.
I don't want it in the podcast.
Oh, he just wants to check in on his depressing little picture. It hasn't developed yet. You can go stand awkwardly by yourself now.
Jeremy's cat is also named Cat.
That's pretty
All right.
straightforward.
That's straightforward, yeah.
Well, listen.
He's an identifier.
Cat.
He nailed it with cat then. You did.
Seriously.
Also, his last name is Jeremy Bunting, but his family is from Argentina.
That don't make sense.
Which it does make sense if you consider the fact that that there's some fleeing Nazi shit going on. His whole family escaped from Germany.
They took refuge in Argentina.
Yeah. The Bunting family from Argentina.
Well,
Some war criminals in
it's
that
such a beautifully
bloodline.
composed
No,
podcast.
he also so his family is from Chicago, and I went to visit them one year because I was like I was on vacation between jobs. So for Christmas I stayed with them in like 2015. They have like a Luger pistol that was actually used in World War II, like a German Luger
This
So
pistol.
is why
the pieces fit. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. This is why you're coming to these conclusions.
Yeah.
That's the only conclusion. His last name is Bunting. His family like somehow is from Argentina. You just saw him? He is whiter than he's like porcelain white.
He was fairly pale. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Blonde hair as well.
There's some
Blonde hair, blue
all I'm
eyes.
saying
Blonde
is that
hair, blue eyes.
if anyone from the Showa Foundation is listening right now, you're gonna want to Google bunting and hunt them down
Oh my god.
and put them on trial. Drag them back to Nuremberg.
This
Oh.
is why he walked away. He's out.
I think
Like
so.
he just disappeared.
Yeah, he's on a fucking plane as we speak right now.
With
He
cat.
with Cat the cat.
With Cat the cat.
He already has a subletter for his apartments on Airbnb right now.
Well, he plans ahead.
I would.
Guys, if I derailed this podcast, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is good.
Probably a
This is
nice
good
pod.
stuff.
And
We
also-
decided to jump onto another track for this entire podcast
Okay.
just for Sam Godsey.
I feel the need. Stop saying my fucking full name.
Sam Godsey lives at 242. He actually lives on Newtown Avenue in Astoria, right down
Very-
the street from Don Cookie.
Right
Don
down the
Cookie.
street.
Don Cookie, right there.
Right
Wow.
down. Ooh, Don Cookie that's the only place in my area that's consistently like on a Saturday night. It's like lit.
Also,
fuck
I
up.
was just talking
Yeah.
about
Actually,
this.
I
The-
like Don Cookie.
Don Cookie is a
It's
great
fun.
party. It's got good food. They
Yeah.
have
Does,
a
yeah.
great amount of like. It's
I've
just a
never
party.
been, but-
It's a party, and that's what they're. But
I feel like I wouldn't be welcome there.
I've never seen so many Lamborghinis in front of anywhere.
As Don Cookie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's a
like,
hot spot for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
They
I've
got
now
great
place
it's
to have a
gotten,
bachelor
you
party.
know.
A lot of twerking in Don Cookie.
Yeah.
Are you against twerking?
Oh, I want to be on the record now as saying I'm very pro twerking.
Oh, okay. Because you mentioned it, so
I
Yeah.
just
You gotta-
the juxtaposition of seeing when you're walking home from work, especially late night, and you're like, all right, it's like a Tuesday, and you're walking by Don Cookie, and you see like a whole group of people amassed together, like eating their tilapia, like very kind of delicately, and then you see like over like 20 feet away from them, there's like 14 people twerking, like
they're feeling the
Yeah.
music.
it has.
It's just like hordes of like Hispanic women in like booty shorts being like, "Oh yeah, papi!" It's pretty hot. Trying to get in, waiting online. There's a line
Yeah.
7 days a
yeah,
week
of course.
outside that place.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I remember years ago. Remember the time we were there, and there was
Wait,
a
are
whole
you guys
bunch
from
of
Queens?
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
from
Wait,
Queens.
Astoria?
This
I'm
guy's
from Astoria.
Oh, we're in Astoria.
Well, I was off of Ditmars, 21st Ave and 35th. I don't live in Astoria anymore, but that's where I grew up. I love
Yeah.
Astoria.
Astoria is great. It's
Yeah.
the only place in New York City where you can, except maybe like Sheepshead Bay or some shit, where you can like encounter genuine language barriers with like white people. Because they're
The Greeks and Italians.
No, but it's not. The thing is, it's like my like neighbor is like Croatian or something. He's like from some like Soviet
There's
Balkan
a huge
backwater.
Croatian
Yeah.
population there, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go and excuse me, where's like whatever. I'm trying to get directions to like the sub or some shit. I don't know, and they'll just be like, "Ugh," like they don't fucking speak English.
So like because, Star Wars.
Because they're like fresh off the boat from like
But
some weird country in Eastern
believe it or
Europe.
not, in Forest Hills, it kind of is like that too.
Yeah.
Like with the Russian.
That's also in Queens,
Yeah.
right?
Huh?
I mean, yeah,
That's
the
the
Russians in
Russian-
Forest Hills are like that's a huge demographic.
It's much
Yeah.
less diverse though. It's like in Forest Hills, you're either gonna be I guess Russian. You're gonna be Asian. And there's like a small like little
Italian.
crevice for I mean there's like a small assortment of everyone else, but
the pizzerias in Forest Hills are also really
yeah,
on point.
Austin Street over
Yeah.
there,
Like,
they
you
have a
got,
little strip
like,
over there. It's pretty
Russian
nice.
barbershops, 3 pizzerias, and like
No. Look, 71st Continental. There you find
Yeah, you'll find some
everything.
stuff over
yeah,
there, yeah.
What was it? Oh my gosh. Station House?
Station House is a good
Oh my gosh.
good craft
Wait,
beer
then-
bar.
But sorry, what part of Queens?
Forest Hill,
Hills.
71st
Forest Hills.
Continental, right off of the F and E train.
Cool.
And right there, there's this bar that is called Station House. They
Yeah.
have like an insane collection of
Yeah,
of
they have a
different
lot
craft
of
beers.
they do a lot
It's,
of tap
like,
takeovers.
insane.
Yeah, it's pretty dope spot.
What's a tap takeover?
It's when a
Sure, what that
brewery
is.
comes in and
Good question.
they just own, basically they'll take over all the taps, they'll bring in all their kegs, and they'll pour their beer for the night.
And
Okay.
they usually will sell out of their beer
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that night. Like,
So it's like a promotional thing for breweries.
Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
of
Definitely.
course. And
So who
to
knows?
kinda
Maybe
get rid of-
Canabliss might do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That should be
Canabliss
your
tap
goal.
takeover.
Like so, Station House.
Dude, for the
Do a
next year or
tap
two, you should
takeover?
you should just try and make tight relationships with like people that have bars in Astoria. and
Well,
just-
so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the big opportunities.
I think you brew enough beer that you can like create some demand.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
not right now. I brew enough beer to be able to have like a little event like this every couple of months. But like that, the reality is that if I were to, I would have to. It would have to go through a lot of different regulation. But doing it as a non-alcoholic beer would kind of bypass some of that regulation, and it would be a dedicated marijuana beverage, like a.
Would you be able to? You can't sell that
You can sell that.
commercially in New York.
You can't sell commercially
Not
in
in
New
New
York
York.
until it becomes legal.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, technically, marijuana is legal in certain locations. Certain vendors, they have certain locations
Well,
that
you
they
need
can
to
sell.
have the you need
medical-
medical, yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
right. Like severe, like
But it's
MS
even
or
it's really strict though. Even in New York, it's stricter in
Yeah.
New York than it is in other states, or
Yeah.
at least in some other states. Yeah.
yeah.
Legalize it, man.
Yeah.
Legalize it.
He's joking, but it's true.
I mean, I think eventually it will.
Think of all the tax revenue. I fucking hate legalized marijuana.
Why?
Even if
Why? Why would you hate legalized marijuana?
I mean,
You're so depressed
I mean,
as a person.
I think that I don't think weed should be illegal. I think it's dumb that it is, and I guess it'd be cool if it was legal. But all these these hardcore like legalize it people who think that like, oh man, just imagine like the tax revenue that would come from it if it was in
it should just be
real.
normalized, not
If-
just. Yeah.
Think of all the tax revenue or whatever that would come from it. It's like people think that it would like fucking save the country. There are a lot of people that feel that way about weed. I'm sorry, that's just not true. I mean, it would help.
Joe
It would,
Rogan feels
it would
that
help
way.
like some things. Joe Rogan, yeah, he does. I love Joe Rogan.
I think he's awesome.
Well, it would put less people in jail, which
Yeah.
would, which
Yeah,
would, which would
for
definitely
sure.
be
Yeah.
a good thing. I
Because
mean,
a lot of people now, they're due to just having a small amount of
yeah, you can get
of
arrested
weed,
for having
you-
a joint. I mean,
getting
it's kind of
arrested
crazy.
for a joint, and that actually ruins their record. They are in jail for several years just for having a small amount.
Well,
And then
depending
you
on the
can't
scenario.
get a job,
Huh?
Yeah.
And you can't get a job. I mean,
Yeah.
and
but you also get
something-
ripped in jail. So you know,
oh my god.
swings and
So like you
roundabouts.
just come out and work in Equinox for like the
Yeah.
rest of your life. That's
Setting yourself up
Sounds
for
like a
that.
great job.
win, win lose.
I mean, dude, you can get a small followership on Instagram that way, and like,
Yeah.
reformed addict, now personal trainer, hashtag Instagood, hashtag fit life, hashtag eat clean.
Healthy eating.
Healthy eating.
That's
There
that's
you
a
go. Hashtag healthy eating.
beautiful, beautiful success story. And if legalizing marijuana eliminates people who are able to do that, then I'm not for it. Because I follow a lot of those people on Instagram, and it's what gets me out of bed.
thought beer got you out of bed.
No. The only thing that gets me out of bed is not wanting to get yelled at by my boss.
Oh, how nice.
Because I hate my life. Life is meaningless. Whoever's listening to this, just, I don't know.
Like what?
Perfect end to that sentence.
I don't know.
Just I don't know.
I don't know. Just, figure out whatever you end up doing, just know that it's for nothing and you're going to be forgotten. That's that's what you should be getting out of this.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, I think you should smoke weed.
Yes,
eat-
it sounds like you need it.
We gotta trick him. We have to give him a beer that's infused with marijuana.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yes,
you can't do
and-
that to me. I'm on my game right now for avoiding weed, just because I know that you've laced beer with weed because you're a fucking psychopath.
I'm a psychopath that very clearly notes that these beers are with weed and these beers are not with weed.
I don't trust you.
And you
I-
have to
now
do
I just think
piss
all beer
tests,
has
so-
weed. I actually didn't have to piss test for the job I have right
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah, I did, for some reason. Probably because I work for like a star. I work for
If
like
I took a good look at you, I would say we gotta screen this guy. We never give him any money.
for people listening that can't see me right now, I'm gorgeous, so I don't know what he's talking about.
He's got like this Beyonce body meets like.
I'm voluptuous.
He's like a Peter
I'm a
Griffin head
voluptuous
and
diva.
body above the waist. His legs are super fucking on point.
Yeah.
Almost
They're
like
actually
a
not.
soccer player-ish.
No, absolutely not. My thighs are fucking just gigantic. I chafe like a fucking plus-size Dove model. It's ridiculous. And this is a recent development in my life. I'm starting to get varicose veins. Like what you normally see on like 90-year-old women. It's 100%. I'm Jewish. My whole family comes from some like fucking Soviet backwater. So like whatever fucking like. I'm just the result of centuries of shtetl inbreeding in like Poland or wherever the fuck I'm from.
He doesn't even know. It's okay.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's a lot of Eastern European Jews don't know where they're from because there was so much like escaping fucking like Bolsheviks or whatever the fuck. Am I being too vulgar? I'm sorry. I'm kind of drunk.
No, it's all right.
No, it's fine.
We're
Keep
here
going.
about being honest.
We're here about being honest. So honestly,
Oh, no.
if I have to be honest right now, I'm enjoying myself.
Good.
This is a good time.
Good.
It's a good
It's
time.
positive, yeah.
This is the first broadcast that you're going to be able to do where you actually charge the person that is that you're talking to talk to them.
Can I refill my beer? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to do that. Oh, my heart feels like it wants more alcohol poured down
needs
it.
more beer.
Okay,
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks. He is. I did.
He's a
say
character.
He's a character.
Yeah.
For damn sure.
He's one of them that you keep around because he's the wild card. He's
Yeah.
for sure the wild card. You never know what Sam, and that is tame. That is tame.
That's a tamed one.
Yeah, tame Sam.
We got tamed version.
He pretty much believes that this is going to be like broadcast out to everywhere, so he is going to say the most.
Look, BuzzFeed, listen up.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Yo, BuzzFeed, I got some shit to say.
This is Nickelodeon, Sam Godspeed. Because he would actually have stuff to
Top
say.
14 pictures of Joe Biden, Barack Obama, bromance, or whatever the fuck you write about. I'm sorry. Continue. That wasn't funny at all.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy, your
Okay.
picture's ready.
So tell us more. What other beers you have lined up? Like what's going on? Like, what we got?
You know what? My phone's over there.
Because I just tried this frog's bite.
Frog's Bite, yeah. Tell
and
us about that one.
It was yummy. I liked it.
It's so.
It was
we
bite, but
me and
I
my buddy decided that it was going to have a bite because it is it's a hot bomb, and we're like,
yeah.
I sometimes every once in a while I'll be like, okay, I have a shitload of just random ingredients in my room, and I'm just going to throw in a bunch
that's
of
how
randos.
Mm-hmm.
This one
That's
I
how
could
you figure it
never
out.
reproduce because it's just like, all right, Chinook 40%, like 6.6 grams of Chinook, and like another like 2 ounces of like Citra. So I have no idea. It's a total grandma's recipe kind of thing.
Right.
But so Frog's Bite, me and Johan, and I'm bummed he's not here right now, but Johan and I have been friends since 8th grade. He's my first friend that I made when I moved here to New York. And we lost touch for a number of years, and we just reconnected just 3 years ago. And it turns out like we were just like, wait, dude, you just moved back to New York? Oh, great, cool. So he is into all this astronomy and beer, and coincidentally
wow.
he brews beer at the same time. He like just started brewing beer maybe a year after I started brewing beer. So he,
What sign are you?
the first beer we brewed together was thank you, Sam.
You're like such a Pisces. It's like literally amazing.
So
Are you a Pisces?
no, I'm a Virgo.
Oh my god, stop it. You're such a Virgo.
So anyway,
You guys aren't on Spotify, by the way. I'm disappointed.
No, we're not on Spotify. Not yet, anyway.
We're gonna get on
hang on. I
that.
spelled tomorrow wrong.
Oh, that might be a problem there.
You'd be surprised that he can operate a phone. He can't spell things like tomorrow. Anyway,
I don't know how to write.
So, funny little story where me and Johan went out one day. We were out and it was freezing cold, and I had my hands in my pocket and I pulled my hands out and I'm like, oh my God, the tips of my finger are blue.
Oh shit.
Oh, holy shit. It was really cold, and it was my first winter in New York, so going from Colorado where it's like very dry cold to like very humid, like bitter cold, I was like, I have frostbite. So I was like, dude, the tips of my finger are blue and purple. I was like, we have to go to the hospital. So we lived up in Spanish Harlem. And so he's like, all right, let's go to Mount Sinai. So we go to Mount Sinai, and we go to the front desk, and I just show them, I'm like, I think I have frostbite. I'm very calm about it. I was like, my fingers are like really, they hurt, like they're very cold. And
you're like nonchalant. Yeah, I got frostbite.
I think I have frostbite, but I'm not like.
I don't know what to do.
I'm not like. I don't know. I'm like very conflicted. And so I was like, I think I have frostbite. And the lady at the front desk of Mount Sinai goes, oh, okay, sit down. I'm like, okay. He's like, all right. So I sit down. I go like maybe 15 minutes later. I go into the doctor, and the doctor goes, so you got bitten by a frog?
Oh my gosh.
I go,
what?
Wait, what? No. I'm Robert. They're like, yeah, they wrote down frog's bite. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. No, frostbite. Anyway, turns out that I had a pen that exploded in my pocket.
Oh shit!
And the tips of my fingers were blue. The doctor, just as calmly as I came into the emergency room of Mount Sinai, the doctor pulls out a little wipe and just rips it open and goes,
here you
exploding
go.
pen. I'm like, wow, you just knew that was the issue. I guess I never had a pen explode in my pocket. Yeah. So anyway, Johan and I ended up brewing beer. This is the second beer that we brewed together, and we're like, dude, we gotta brew Frog's Bite IPA. Like it's gotta be like maybe an apple IPA. The apple never came through it. Like we used so much apple, we grinded down these apples, these golden delicious apples. It never came through in the flavor because it is a hot bomb. But it's a bite. It's a bite. It's a Frog's Bite IPA. So
I can taste the apple on it.
Can you taste the apple on it?
Yeah. Or in it, rather.
I'm
It's nice. It's like sweet and it's like very crisp.
Yeah.
A little bit bitter. How about it?
That was Sam Godsey with the first coherent thing you've heard all night.
So what? Do you have anything else here that you brewed?
On the lineup.
Yes. Phases Pale Ale. It's not even my recipe. It's Phases. Phases was the first beer that I brewed on my Zymatic system, and they very kindly with the system, they send you a pack of different ingredients to be able to make what's called Pico Pale Ale.
Okay.
And it's freaking delicious. But I was like, okay, I'm going to make the Pico Pale Ale, and I'm going to just make minor modifications so I can just kind of say that it's now Phases Pale Ale. And that's essentially what I did. It's not anything creative except for it tastes really good, and I posted up on Instagram, and Pico Brew got in touch with me immediately. They're like, "We are so happy that you're doing this. Keep up the good work." And they actually, I'm doing a whole unboxing video. I wanted to wait because I'm such an advocate for the product now, but this
is the brew system that you have?
This is the brew system I have. This is the computerized brewing system.
Honestly, I think they should reach out to you.
Totally.
And he's an awesome salesperson for it.
I would sell it.
Should be an ambassador for them.
I would sell it to everybody if I could. But it's one of those products that it's just very cool, and they are very.
If you want to sell to everyone though, you got to tone down the hair gel. If I'm being real, it's very stiff.
Sam, this is movable. It's moving.
Your hair is like fucking straw.
He's just running his fingers through his
like
hair at the moment.
It's, that's very sweet of you.
I'm sorry, Sam, that you're not
This has been a very
accustomed
sensual
to
moment
hair
for-
gel in your hair.
It's all about these Jew curls, baby. I give the people what
It was
they
all about the
want.
bass, and now it's all about the Jew curls.
The
It's all about
curls.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Although my hair's a little bit too short, but you know, give me 3 weeks when my hair grows out a little bit,
Then
it'll be
you'll have
curly
the little-
and luscious, like
You look
Adrian
like Seth
Grenier,
Rogen on coke.
like Seth Rogen on coke. That's my vibe, baby.
Does that make you feel good that you look like a skinny Seth Rogen?
I don't like skinny Seth Rogen.
Skinny Seth Rogen.
That makes me
no,
feel good.
no. I don't mean current skinny Seth Rogen. I mean skinny Seth Rogen from the 40-year-old virgin.
It took you a while to spit that out.
Yeah,
I
because
also don't-
there's
He
so
was
many
trying to remember.
non-skinny Seth Rogen
I also,
movies.
I also don't think was he actually in the oh
yes,
Yeah,
of
he
course
was.
he was in the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
So-
worked. He worked in the
He
same
was,
store. Yeah.
He's a stock guy.
He's a stock
Yeah.
guy. He had that. That huge.
Oh, true. He was like one of the guys that was
He had
trying to
some
help
serious
Steve
curls
Carell
there.
get laid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. You know he's Canadian, by the way. He's
I
also been
do
doing
know he's
stand-up
Canadian.
since he was like 12 years old.
I mean, him and his troupe. He has a crew of
Crew,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jason Segel.
Yeah.
I was just watching How I Met Your Mother. That show sucks.
Ugh. Sorry.
Very-
I'm sorry, no.
Do you
Stop
li-
right there.
You like How I Met Your Mother?
Hell to the
Yeah.
frickin' yes.
I mean, I watched the shit out
But
of
what
it.
about
It's
what
very
happened to the
entertaining.
end of the series?
I know.
Ah, what a
Yeah,
letdown.
It was.
That
Well, they had
was-
two. They had the ending they aired, and then there was an alternate ending
Oh
as well.
God! Anything other than that.
Yeah, it was a downer ending. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! It's like you build up this character for a season. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that's listening, but don't hold on to that character that they built up after the last season. Oh my God!
But that
It was just like
character, that character that they built up, though, ugh.
what? She was adorable.
Ugh.
She was cute.
She was like the girl next door
Yes,
in every
yes.
sense.
The
Yeah.
actress is attractive, but she's all like the character, like the
personality-wise,
the
you
shit
mean?
that that character said. It was like, I hate like the whole.
You have a problem masturbating, don't you?
I hate the, absolutely not.
Pornhub is not your best friend, right?
Sorry.
I
I
just
actually-
don't
you know what?
feel like she really gets into it the right way.
Can I just say, Pornhub? I've kind of been taking a break from porn recently, not of my own volition, because my personal laptop broke, so now I only have my work laptop, and I'm not like sometimes I'll use my phone to look at porn.
Oh, shit.
You don't.
That makes me feel weird.
Why? Why?
Like I text my mom on my phone and then I'm fucking watching.
You never sent your mom an email?
What?
I'm gonna ruin your
No, I
life.
don't email my mom.
You've never sent your mom.
No,
you've
I'm
nev-
not. I'm about to send emails to morga.watsu@yahoo.com. That's not happening.
He knows the email though.
Everyone spam that. Actually, please don't. Holy fuck, that's my mom's actual email address.
Monica.godsey@gmail.com.
Yes, at Gmail. That's what I said.
Yes.
Right to that one, not Yahoo.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. If this actually turns out to be like a fucking viral, I hope it won't be. I'm hoping that this isn't going to be. Oh my god, my friend just texted me.
I hope it does. I hope it does.
Please, anyone listening, don't fucking email my mom. Don't do that.
She will know it was you.
The funny
She'll
thing is,
know,
she'll if you email her, you can email her death threats. She'll never see them. She's so tech illiterate.
Oh, she uses gmail.com, right?
Hey, listen, it's better than AOL.
Oh, I use
Yeah.
AOL.
My
Yeah.
grandparents
AOL
still use
still-
MSN.
Still kicking, but AIM is down.
AIM is down?
AIM is down
That's
for the
sad.
first time in 20 years now.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
they
I
got rid
had
of AIM.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had AIM once.
What,
upon
what
a
was
time.
what was
Started with
what
AIM.
was your AIM?
Oh God,
screen
no!
name?
It's embarrassing. As
Please,
shit.
you have to say it. You have to say
It's
it.
so corny as shit.
Please.
It was
God.
Thick Mommy 420.
Yes, yes. When she was 14 years old, she thought, I'm going to be Thick Mommy 420.
That is so.
I'm gonna use slang that's gonna only exist 20 years from now.
God. All right, now I'm trying to remember what the hell did I put down. Yeah, it was like...
She totally remembers. She's just trying to think of something more flattering. Trying to think of something less embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. That is horrific. All right. It is corny as hell, so don't judge me. But
It was what?
It was corny as hell. Like corny. No, not that. That was not my actual name.
Corny as hell was not the
No,
Ames
it wasn't.
rename, right?
Sorry.
That's
But
not
it
that
was
bad.
actually, believe it or not, it
I'm
was...
disappointed by how not bad that is.
It was... This is how corny I was back in the days. I was sexy, but spelled backwards.
Oh, so
Y-X.
Y-X.
I can't even say it, but
The fact
yeah,
that none of us can
sexy
figure out what that
backwards.
pronounces says a lot about the intelligence of the people on this podcast right
It's
now.
Ixis.
Yeah, it's like Y-X.
I guess backwards. Yeah,
ES.
it's Ixis. Yeah.
How is Mike Jones introduced on this podcast? Was
Who?
he introduced as Robert Jones? Because I've never known him as that.
Yeah.
I've only known him as Mike Jones.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That has not died apparently.
The guy that fucking passed out with his hand on his dick
Oh my God.
in Jeremy's apartment on the couch. You still owe him money for rent, you piece of shit. You still owe him money. And now you're on a beer podcast like, oh, the thing about the hops on this IPA is that it's really, you need to let them aerate. Whatever the fuck you talk about. Give me my money!
Oh my God.
And now this podcast will be me falling asleep with my hand on my dick. Thank you.
That's the big takeaway. That's the big takeaway from the night.
There are a couple takeaways. Number one, 9/11. Number two, Mike Jones lived on a couch for like well over a year.
It was not even 6 months.
Bullshit.
It was not
Don't
even
backtrack. You know what it was.
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start
You
somewhere.
gotta start somewhere. A lot of people started
Actually,
like
that apartment. So
Let's be for real.
I'm very good friends with Mike's friends, Christian and Jeremy. That's the apartment that he was living at on the couch. I spent a summer crashing on that couch a lot, and it was the filthiest, most disgusting apartment
'cause you
I've
slept
ever
on the
been in.
Black leather. Oh.
No, you slept on the black leather couch. I would have to sleep on the floor. And the thing is, it was like, so the only air conditioner was in Jeremy's like room. So the entire apartment was just sweltering and like sweaty.
And
Well,
and
Jeremy
he
loves that.
needed to be cool. You
Yeah.
know, you guys had to figure it out.
I had to employ like fucking man versus wild survivor skills to figure out how to stay cool in this apartment. So like it was a weird like triplex situation. So I would go to the lowest point because like air settles at the lowest point in a room, and it was like so the lowest point was like the fucking bathroom where I would just sleep butt ass naked on the tiles, and I was sober too. Like this was a sober decision that I made to get naked and sleep on the tile on this
Hey,
apartment.
listen. We have a cat, and what do you call it? That's what he does.
Yeah,
He goes to the bathroom on the
it's a good
tile.
move. It's that is the move that any rational animal would make in the interest of trying to stay cool. And I would strip down, and then I woke up one day because I felt like shit crawling on me. There were 3 cockroaches
Oh, man.
on my chest in this horrifying fucking hellscape of
You
an
woke
apartment.
up naked, sober on the bathroom floor.
I had to go to. I had one job in Brooklyn and one job in the Bronx that summer,
Wow.
and this was on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, so it was a fucking grind. That sucked, and the cockroaches didn't make it better.
Well,
That's fucking horrifying.
Wait, you.
It was pretty. It was a thoroughly. That was definitely a sexual awakening for me.
the roaches did it for
Naked
you.
and covered in roaches.
Mm-mm-mm.
God damn.
That's a good sauce, baby.
So are we still talking about beer anymore?
I'm gonna not be on this podcast anymore. Bye.
Thank you.
That was excellent.
That was excellent.
That was
funny as hell.
A character and a half.
Yeah. Beer today, beer tomorrow. We're not 9/11 deniers and we're not Holocaust deniers, but that was a funny ass segment. Oh man!
He's a Jew that denies the Holocaust.
And he's best friends with a person who apparently his family fled Nazi Germany to go to Argentina. So that's a show right there.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a show, you know?
That
Yeah.
should be a show.
Damn.
Should be a show.
Conversation off air. But anyway, so any other beers that you want to talk about? Any other upcoming events? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, what else is up on
February?
What's going on?
It's gonna be the same thing as this, but it's essentially what I'm doing is I am going to be I'm gonna be kind of perfecting Canabliss more. February we're gonna have a lot more malty beers. It's not going to be kind of focused on the IPA, Pilsner, Pale Ale. It's going to be a lot more of the kind of Dunkelweizen style beer.
Nice.
You know, I'm
saying his
I have
goodbyes.
to say hi.
He's saying his goodbyes. Now they're hugging. It's a group hug going on.
Group hug.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're here on the roof. Surprised the temperature hasn't dropped. That was
I know.
it's a funny ass segment we just had.
Talking about truth.
Yeah, right.
Be honest. Too honest.
It was too honest. It was. It was funny shit though. Yeah, and my cup's empty again, so I think we're gonna close out the show with our buddy here, and then we'll grab another brew.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so February, it's going to be a lot more dark beers and Canabliss IPA.
Nice.
All right,
It's
awesome.
kind of, the focal point.
Awesome.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
That is freaking awesome.
All right, man. Well, yeah. I mean,
We're like,
Sam Ghazi left is like,
where do we go from here?
yeah.
the
Like,
Holocaust.
yeah, like, how do you
God,
follow
okay.
Holocaust denial?
Just start right there.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that was funny as hell. But all that aside, this was I think was a really cool event.
Yeah.
Digging, just the view was amazing.
Yes.
Lucked out with the temperature. A lot of interesting beers. I enjoyed everything that I had. I've actually first time trying your beers, first time trying Birra Antoniana as well.
Yeah, very delicious.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you want to plug your website or in social media?
Yeah.
Plug away, plug everything.
Zymology.com is where you can get all of the great beers from here. It's kind of like a one of the hidden items is going to be Canabliss, but if you are interested in Canabliss, you can personally email me at support@zymology.com. Check out thehotblog.com and also our Instagram page. Anything that has to do with brew spice and that fantastic company you can kind of check out on Facebook and Instagram as well. It's a delicious spice that kind of has its roots ingrained in beer, and you can throw it on any kind of food that you want to perfectly pair your food with your beer. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Peter.
That's a lot, man. You got a lot going on. It's
Yeah.
thanks so much for inviting us to this secret beer release party. This was dope.
Rendezvous
This little
here.
rendezvous on the roof in
Yes.
Williamsburg. This was really dope. And
Rendezvous on the roof. I like that.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
Damn,
definitely.
that's even better. Like Zocktoberfest. No, rendezvous on the roof.
There you go.
Yeah,
This is awesome, man. Thank you so much. Glad you had us Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow out here.
absolutely.
Digging your beers and looking forward to drinking more of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
The two of you, Rachel, Peter. It's been a real pleasure to meet you, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Ah, man,
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a real good time.
The brews were awesome. Thank
Good.
you.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Awesome. Cheers.
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 Thanks for listening to BTBT Podcast, episode 36, Zocktoberfest 17. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you guys did too. BTBT has some really cool events coming up, and we will be at the Well in Brooklyn this Saturday, November 4th, for the Brew for a Cure home brew competition. Proceeds will be going to St. Jude's, and you can get the tickets on eventbrite.com. We hope to see you there. And on Saturday, November 11th, we will be in Island to Island Brewery in Brooklyn for an art and tasting event. And on November 18th and 19th at Absurd Conclave in Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York, BTBT is co-sponsoring the Puerto Rican Hurricane Relief Pop-Up Sample Sale Charity Event at 360 Jefferson Street. It's gonna be awesome. Tickets are also available on eventbrite.com. Looking forward to see you all there. Now, don't forget, to subscribe to Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow podcast and to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Look, got feedback for us? Beer reviews you want us to do, or breweries or even events you'd like us to cover? Hit us up at beertodaybeertomorrow@gmail.com. Until next time, no matter where you are in the world, drink local, drink fresh, repeat. Cheers. One last time. Take 6.